actually understood the power that you have to create anything and everything that you actually want and desire, to manifest that, to bring it to life, to cultivate that, you would not be wasting one more second, I promise you, worrying about why you're numb, thinking that you're broken, feeling frustrated because you're not experiencing what it is you want to experience, feeling frustrated at these men who don't want to connect with you and please you. You would not be wasting one single second. I promise you, if you understood that it came down to you completely and utterly was in your control to change and cultivate what you actually want, like you don't have to settle, you wouldn't be wasting your time doing that. Now, at the very beginning of my journey, like I'm talking before anything else, I had already begun my manifesting journal, right? My manifesting journey. So every single morning, so I'd been working with coaches back then of, soul-led coaches teaching me how to, connect to me and this part of me. I would wake up every single morning and do my journal work. Not journal as in Dear Diary, journal as in scripting, like magical scripting, manifesting, where you are bringing what you want into the now, into the present tense. And it's not just about writing, you need to feel it, because it's your frequency that is completely controls what it is you cultivate and attract and manifest, right? I would write, and I was talking about this last night with a girlfriend, so I'm like, I need to tell this story again. I've told it many times, but I would write the same phrases over and over. Now, there was a whole lot that I would write, but these are the main things that I always share that I would write. So back then, I struggled with pleasure, right? The only way that I could feel something was with a super high-powered toy, and even then, sometimes it didn't work. Without it, intimacy was like non-existent. It was just bring me that toy, that's my force of pleasure. It would be intense and then it would just be as if nothing happened. That was the extent, because I was so fucking suppressed in my body. I was numb, I was all of that. But I knew I wanted more. So I would write in my journal these sentences. Number 1, I am multi-orgasmic with ease and flow. I would write that because I knew that is what I wanted. And I would tap into, like I said, I would not just write this, but that was what resonated with me, because I wanted to feel just ease and flow, these waves of ecstasy in my body. Didn't know how it could happen. I was numb as a fucking doorknob, but I knew that's what I wanted. And I would also write, another phrase was, my partner and I have mind-blowing, soul-expanding, deeply connected intimacy and schmecks multiple times a week. Because at that point, I was so avoidant. I wanted to be the woman who wanted schmecks, but I was so shut off that it was very, very hard for me with my partner at the time, who was a great man. It was nothing to do with him. Now, I would write this in my journal every day. I had no idea. I didn't understand the self-pleasure work that I teach now. That I went on to study, the somatic work. I didn't understand any of that. But I would tap into this every morning along with my other stuff, and I would feel into, how would that feel? Like, how would it feel to be so open in my body and experiencing this intimacy that was just like, oh my God, like I just feel my soul is touched here. And I would really tap into that and let myself feel it in my body. The funny thing happened is that all of a sudden, after doing this and repeating this and tapping into this, guess what started appearing in my Facebook feed back then was women who were talking about this, women who were speaking openly. And I was like, oh my God, you can't say that online. And I mean, now look at me. But I was like, there was a part of me that was insanely triggered by it. And then another part of me that was just like, yeah, this is so normal. This is what I've called in and the threads that I'm following. Anyway, so because I had been tapping into this, the universe, the world, my external world started shifting to match that frequency. The leaders, the people that I needed to, that were there to guide me in their specific way that I was, seeking, were being put in my path. And I, went to see one particular woman. I read a book that was put in my path that I had previously never heard of. And I started awakening. I started then following the inspired action. So it's not just about, oh, I'm just going to sit here and manifest and everything's going to magically appear. It's about shifting into that frequency, and then you follow the steps that the universe is putting in front of you to awaken that. So because I was so internally, I am this woman. I am this fucking multi-orgasmic woman. I experienced the most incredible intimacy. I was already her, even though, like I said, I was fucking dry as a bloody, dead as a doorknob. Externally, I knew that inside there was more, and that was what I was aligned with. So I started doing the work. I started doing the work that had previously never been on my radar, that suddenly started showing up. And I went on to gradually awaken my body, ignite my fucking fire, and become this version of me that you see today that is so, alive and turned on. But here's the kicker. So I attracted this relationship that I went into, right? The previous relationship wasn't meant to be. We weren't meant to be, and, we realized that. But I attracted this relationship. Now, this was the most incredible intimacy and connection that I had ever experienced, of course, because I had finally awakened within me. And a couple months into our journey together, and he was like looking in my eyes with tears in his eyes, and he started describing, we were talking about our Sxx life, and he's like, oh my God, it's just so mind-blowing. It's like so deeply connected in a way I've never felt before, and it's just soul expanding. I had never told him at this point about the journal work that I had done. I had never, ever said the words that I had written in my journal. Never. It didn't ever come up in discussion at that point. And I looked at him and I was like, holy fucking shit. You are using the exact words that I used to write in my journal morning after morning after morning every day for so long that I wanted to create. You are sitting here reflecting back to me, telling me that this is, you know what it feels. And, then it became this running joke that, Frankenstein, that I attracted him and manifested him to life. But it really was, it came from me tapping into this first, and then everything started shifting in my life from me becoming that woman internally, shifting into the frequency of her, and then following the steps and the threads. This is why I say, if you truly understood that it was completely all on you to, you have the power to create whatever it is that you desire and whatever it is you want, you wouldn't be wasting another minute complaining. You would be doing the work to shift into that frequency. And you wouldn't be worried about when it happens in the external world. I wasn't, worried. It was like, whatever. I know that this is who I am inside. I know this is the intimacy that I want, and I know that my outside world is going to reflect that when it's meant to reflect that. You are the creator. You can manifest anything that you desire, including the pleasure and the O's and the intimacy, and it's up to you to start shifting into that first.